Hello, today I have a message called Divine Instruction, and the first statement is notice the feeling of insisting. So with that is like a pushing forward, the idea of a goal and the idea that there needs to be a push, the certainty and the insistence upon there needing to be a push instead of everything just being here for everyone and being guided together, being made obvious in every moment, so there's a flow equally given to everyone. So there's all these places where we would still feel a push, or even its opposite, like a withdrawal, either one, allowing what serves all of us to, I don't know, like fill these spaces behind us where there seems to be something pushing, or in front of us where we seem to be withdrawing back into something, and just allowing that something to be here and to connect everything and to be in charge. If we're going to insist on anything, we can insist on giving ourselves a moment to reorient toward what is actually here, despite all our feverish imaginings, fearful imaginings. What is actually powerful in here, in everyone and everything. Again, despite any of the ego's foolish imaginings, despite any experiences, that doesn't matter. What matters is what's really here. What's real. So we can always stop and rest in that a moment and acknowledge the power of that. Acknowledge how that is joined. No matter what I'm looking at, it's in everyone and everything, and it's joined. And then in this place where I just stop to acknowledge it for a moment, there's no push and there's no insisting, and there's no efforting or trying to push an agenda, or there's none of that. There's just what's here, and it serves everyone. And in this space of what's truly here serving everyone, no one has to try to be especially worthy in order to be served by what is here for everyone. There's no special effort required. It's possible to melt back down into something that serves you and all. So we already are it. That's what we are. We're all the same thing. And this thing serves everyone and everything. It is service. And if we just think for a moment of that being what we actually are, like if you say to yourself, I am service, and everything as it truly is, and everyone as they truly are, in unison, they serve everything. That's their true nature, the true nature of everyone and everything. And when we remember to kind of subside back into this, instead of efforting out of it, subside back into it, then here we are with everything we need and everything we can give. It's a little tricky because we seem to be led to these roles in the world, and in the world it would seem that you might stand out especially in one moment or another. And if I identify with and as that, then there's going to be the distraction of that identification, whether it's pride or shame. It's a very distracting identification, and it cuts me off perceptually and experientially from everyone and everything else. So there's always that opportunity to look at the reality of what we are here together, and to allow that to step forward, to allow that to be the obvious thing. And we can do that in a breath. We don't need longer than just a moment to relax into that and let it be in charge. And then this says, yes, you do have a servant. So if you think of yourself as having a servant and being worthy of having a servant, and then you think of everybody the same way. Everyone has a servant, and they're all worthy of having servants. Energetically speaking. And like I said before, we are that service for everyone and everything we call else. But we don't have to try to grab a special identity as service. We don't know what form that's going to take. But back to what I was given, because the emphasis was there. Yes, you do have a servant. So what would the point of that be? It wouldn't be about the ego getting what it wants. It wouldn't be about the ego making demands. It would be an aid in a time of need, an uplifter, a supporter, a working with you, something working with you. That's always here. And when we tune into the level at which that's active, that service, that servant, the holy servant, and we're not tuning in at a level in which we are analyzing and judging what seems to be the outcome in time and space right now. We're tuning into the level of what's real right now, what's whole and present and huge behind the scenes and vibrating, what's full of power, what's joined, what's here right now. We tune into that for a moment, and we learn to stay here. We learn to not wander away. So it's kind of like, yes, we have a servant, but we join forces with the servant in service. We're very much with the servant, and we learn how to serve all. And by serving all with the holy servant, with the servant, we are very naturally served by what's true and what's real and everyone and everything. Okay, leave an open spot in your relationship with all. So sometimes the ego will be telling us that we need to fill in, like we need to fill in a silence with words. We need to fill in a day with activity. We need to fill in. But if instead we allow there to be an openness of a quiet moment, an openness of time that's not filled with activity. It doesn't mean we have to effort to make this happen, because that's another activity. Just understanding it's okay to rest with an open spot and then not rush to fill it. And this is of course my lesson. But maybe it'll resonate, maybe it's your lesson too. So this would be my relationship with everyone and everything. To know that servant's there, and I don't have to rush in and fill that spot. What serves all of us will bring to mind in all of us whatever needs to be brought to mind. And then if there's something to be done or said, it will be obvious. And I know I'm still speaking and acting from the old programming, maybe not all the time, but that tells me I have to keep filling in these spots with what the ego would call its own material, its own way of coping, its own invention. But really, no, everything's here for us. And everything can be made obvious for us. So if we think of a relationship and we think of this vast, open, light-filled space that we're both held in and both guided in, vast spaciousness, vast power, and it's there for both of us, and it will guide both of us. And we have faith in that power. Then it's not just pressure to enact in a relationship or be a certain way in a relationship. You just show up for the benefit of being guided with the one you're with, and having faith and trust that will benefit everyone. Okay, and then divine instruction is available to everyone in every moment. When I'm focusing on an analysis that ego's made of a person, and they come really fast, really fast, I've noticed, and then I react from the place. So when I'm looking at that analysis that ego would give me of a person or situation, and really fast, it tells me what I'm supposed to do in that situation. And I'm still used to following that. That's okay, because we can notice what we thought of before as, I'm trying to look at it and see it because I'm being shown. And so I'm trying to listen for the right word. As good or as flow. It's sometimes we discover that that's a pattern of reacting from fear. And when we really get into it and feel into that place, into like our habitual social interactions, we can find grounds for transformation. We can find old patterning and a chance to be freed from that. So what the ego would say is safety. This is how you interact socially, and this is what good social interaction is, and this is what bad social interaction is, and it's okay to listen to the ego and analyze everyone and everything and place them into categories. Instead of that, what's here in this moment for all of us is transformational. Because every time we even think of someone, we can have this holy moment with them where we recognize their worth and their value and the depth of that and how reliable that is. And when whatever we do for them, we're doing for ourselves. And when we're really tuning into the depth of what's real in them, what's here for them, then we bring that forward for ourselves, and our own guidance becomes obvious. But it's very much with, we do it with. It's not just like we wake up all by ourselves over here to what's real without seeing it simultaneously in everyone and everything else. In order to have it ourselves, we see it in everyone and everything else. We give because they are us. There's no space and no difference. So what's here for us is here for everybody. And that, of course, is my lesson. That's what it's being given to me. It's what I'm hearing and learning right now. It's not like I stand here saying, hey, I've mastered this and now I'll pass it on to you and maybe you'll get it and maybe you won't. No, in real time, this is what I'm learning to look at And as I'm learning to look at this, I'm learning to drop all the egoic impulses, all the egoic analysis, all the things I'm still relying on that I don't have to rely on. I can let those fall away and let the new, and the real, and the here, and the now step forward for both of us, for all of us, and be that really loving foundation, really present foundation that guides us. And I don't even really see it as an act and react. And, if we're interacting, I see instead what's being emphasized is this foundation that's so here for us together. And of course, you would give everything you have energetically, to everyone you think of, to everyone you're with. You'd give them all the love you are, all the peace you are, all the worthiness you are. Because when you have that interaction, isn't that what you want to be clear? And don't you want to rest in the equality of that, in the joy of the equality of that, and see that is the real thing, your equality, no matter what the surface characteristics. So yeah, it's here for all of us. It's here now. It always will be here. It's just a matter of our noticing and our taking advantage of this resource that's always here. And as we take advantage of it, then we see it being present for everyone. There's something about the giving here, the giving, which is the same as the receiving. I feel like I'm starting to get it. Have I gotten it? No. But is it becoming more obvious? Yes. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that. Okay. So thank you and happy healing.